Hello, year eights. Welcome to Digitech. We're going to be continuing with our work in Tinkercad today. Now, last time we were in Tinkercad, you made a start with the starter tutorials. Okay, so you access those by clicking on Learn here, and you clicked on Starters. Now, quite a few of you got all the starters done, which is fantastic to see. Now, if you're finished with the starters today, you can move on to the lessons. So again, to get to those, you click on Learn, click on Lessons, and you'll have quite a few here that you need to get through. Okay, so if we look at all the lessons here, um, what do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. You've got quite a few to get through. Okay, so I just want you to spend a period's worth of time on this. If you haven't finished the starters, get stuck into that and continue with the starters. If you're up to the lessons, get stuck into the lessons. Do as many as you can during this period and record your evidence just as you did last time. So same document, just start a new table and indicate that you're recording evidence of the lessons rather than just the starters, and get as many done as you can. Okay, but when the time comes for class to end, at the end of the school day, don't feel like you have to stay up all night and get all of these done. I mean, by all means, if you're loving it, you can teach yourself and become a Tinkercad master, but no need to go beyond the class time. Now, I did want to spend a little bit of time showing you what I do with a Tinker Design once I've got one. So this program here, where my mouse is waving, this is called Cura, and this program basically shows you the printable area. So you've got this square at the bottom, that would basically indicate the print bed, and the white lines around the sides sort of show the boundaries of what we can print, so how big we can print. Now you can print bigger things than this, it's just you would have to print them in pieces. So this is about a foot long here, about 30 centimeters here, about 30 centimeters high, and about 30 centimeters along all edges of the base here. So it gives us this fairly big foot cube. And if you wanted to print something that was bigger, you just print it in pieces and then put it together. Now, during the week, I got a design from Archer. Archer's been getting stuck into his Tinkercad work. And what he has recreated is this little fella. So this is a CL or CI 4P/TP. This is a little character from Borderlands. So if you play Borderlands, you've probably seen these guys running around. And Archer has sent me his own design of this little guy. So this isn't his design. This is just an example. If I jump into my Edmodo and go to Archer's little chat box and click on the link that he's given me, this should take me into Tinker and show us the design that he has made. And as you can see, it looks pretty awesome. So Archer sent me through his file as an OBJ file. Now, if you do want to send me things to have a go at printing, and that is what we're going to be doing down the track, send them through as OBJs or STLs. Okay, so when you get a saving option, OBJ or STL are the files that I can happily accept at this end. And once I've got those files, I import them here into Cura. And from Cura, we can save that file. We save it to an SD card. The SD card goes into the 3D printer, and then we can start turning it from a picture on a computer screen into something real that we can hold in our hands. So I'll just get to my downloads folder. Should be able to find Archer's design. Just what do we got here? We need to find. Oh, there it is. Boom. Okay, so he's got an OBJ file here, which I should be able to work with. Just drag that one in, and we'll see what we've got. Big shout out to Archer for sending your work through too. Archer spent a bit of time getting to know the software, and what he's come up with is pretty awesome. Okay, so looking at this little guy, my first observation is that he's pretty tiny. Now that's not the end of the world, okay, because in Cura, which is what I'm looking at now, I can scale things up. So I can use this scale here. So this is 100% size. If I bust that up to say 250%, now we've just got something, we don't have to keep it at 250%, but it gives us a little bit more to look at. Now looking at this guy, we have a few skinny parts. So his arms are quite skinny. That doesn't mean they won't print, but skinny parts are often a weak point. So that's one thing that has me a little bit concerned. We've also got things like his arms floating in midair. So the printer prints right at the bottom first, and it slowly works its way up, and it will print this thing from the bottom, layer by layer by layer by layer, all the way up to the top, and then it would print his head, layer by layer by layer, and then it would print this aerial, layer by layer by layer by layer by layer, by even skinnier, skinnier, skinnier layers. And sometimes with something this skinny, you might have some dramas. The fact that that's going straight up is helpful. You don't have that luxury on the arms though. These skinny little arms are a little bit problematic. So one thing that I would probably do with this model is I would flip it on its head using this little rotate tool here. And that way, so I guess if it's back the way it was, it has to print outwards. So it's printing outwards, 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 which if you're on a slow incline is fine. But if you're on a steep incline, it's problematic. And I just think that if we flip that on its head, whoops-a-daisy, we'll probably get a better result. So it'll come out upside down, but that doesn't matter. You can just turn it over in your hand once you've got it. So putting it upside down would mean that we'll have to get rid of that aerial. Okay, if I tried to print it like this, it would print a whole heap of support material with the aerial on the inside before it starts printing the actual model, and that would be problematic. You would be much better off to print the aerial separately and just glue it on after you're done. So Archer, to you, I think it's going to print a lot better this way. These guys, I think, will print a lot better upside down than up the other way, and I dare say they might be able to print without supports. Although, if you look at this from here, it's not going to be able to print this part in midair, if that makes sense. So it's going to print just some tearaway stuff underneath so that it can stack that on top. So Archer, what I'd like you to do is have another crack at this. I love your work, make no mistake. But if you could send this back minus this aerial on top, I think we're going to have a much better time at trying to print this. Excellent work though. And as soon as we've got one, as soon as you can send me one without the aerial, we'll have a crack at printing it. Now keep your aerial. If you can send that as a file all on its own, that'd be perfect too. And maybe even if we got a little hole here where we could insert that aerial and a drop of glue, you'll never ever be able to tell that it wasn't printed as one unit. So sometimes it takes a few prints before you get something perfect. A note to everyone else, skinnier parts are usually where you'll have an issue. So the arms on this are what have me worried, but again, sometimes the printer, what it can produce and how fine detail it can go to are pretty impressive. So there's no real way to know until you give it a try how well something will come out. Nice one. Cool. So just a quick recap. You are using Tinkercad today to do the starters and moving on to the lessons after the starters. Continue to keep evidence as you complete each of the tutorials the same way that you did last lesson. Now, if you're not sure how to do that, scroll down the Edmodo page and look at the last video. That will help you get up and running. Don't overdo it, okay? Don't spend 45 hours on this. Just need you to work for the class time. And I'm online, so send me a message. If you've got a design that you think is awesome that will come out of the printer, send it through and I'll pop it over here into Cura and we'll get it coming out of the printer. Now on the drone front, I'm hoping to go into school tomorrow and do some flying, but tomorrow is looking very windy. Now if it's too windy, I can't fly, but I'm sure we'll get a chance somewhere along the lines where I can get into school and fly some of the missions that you guys completed in the last couple of weeks. Okay, enough rabbiting on from me. Enjoy your class, guys. I'm online if you need me.